Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. The Chiefs will play the Lions in just a few minutes. Things to watch out for. Patrick Mahomes is starting for a little bit. I'm sure it'll be a little more in the last game. Andy Reid is an old-style coach, so you know the players will get time to play. The only problem is you can get players injured just like doing that, and the Chiefs are coming off a Super Bowl, so who am I to argue with? But I may just not start them. It just gives them more time to get ready to win another Super Bowl. Players can get hurt, similar to Marquise Brown, who is out 4 to 6 weeks, and now they're struggling with what to do with the receiver spot. Running back position. This makes me sad to say because Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes through some of the stuff I do with PTSD, but I unfortunately don't think he's good enough to make the team. Now, wide receiver Kadarius Toney could not be more upside down with this town. I don't think he makes the team. He talks too much, and as one time Buddy Bell, manager, said, "You're not good enough to be an a-hole." That's Kadarius Toney. He's not good enough to be an a-hole. Even though he was a first-round pick by the New York Giants, Justin Ross looks like he's going to make the team. The Chiefs are going to try it all over again with him. Tight end, whether they're going to keep 4 or more, Irv Smith is one of the tight ends to see if they're going to keep. Kingsley Santamaia looks like he's going to get the tackle spot. He's big enough, 6'4", 320 pounds, get the left tackle spot. At the right tackle, John Taylor got injured and was carted off the field. Hopefully it's not as serious as it sounds, but that sounds pretty serious. And I would feel more comfortable if they went back and got Trey Smith, who has won 2 Super Bowls. It can't hurt to have more depth on the team. It can't help to have more help on the team. Donovan Smith has won 2 Super Bowls. Defensive tackle Tayshaun Wharton, we'll see if he makes the team. That will be an interesting spot. Safety Gerard Hicks, who the Chiefs expect to be playing all around, and he can do that. Kickoff versus the Chiefs and Lions is at 3 o'clock in just a minute or two. Royals will play the Reds tonight. Michael Owako will go for the Royals with a 3.50 ERA. Cubs score. Cardinals will play the Dodgers after taking the game 7-6. Getting 5 in the 6th. Getting in 5 in the 6th by the Los Angeles Dodgers was a big blow. Mike Velasquez gets a loss. Alski gets the win. Tonight, Brian Miller will go for the Dodgers, who has a rough start with an ERA over 8.8. Andre Platt will get the start for them. For the Cardinals, they need to get 1. This would be a good day because Clayton Kershaw goes tomorrow for the Dodgers. Tonight's game is at 6:15. The Dodgers and Phillies keep flipping back for the best team in the National League. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report.
To not only do it but do it for an extended period, not just one drive really. So, but I think he's been kind of one of the pleasant developments for the Chiefs of training camp, and not that he's a finished product or a Pro Bowler yet or anything like that, but the Chiefs are sort of betting on development with him, that he's going to be better when the regular season starts than he is now, and that he's going to be better in the middle of the season than he is when the season starts, and better at the end than in the middle. So, so far I think that's a reasonable expectation given.
Adam, you mentioned Jaden Hicks, who, when you go up to practice, you see guys flash a little bit, and he certainly flashed, I thought, in the game the other day. This is another mid-round pick who looks like he probably should have got picked higher by somebody. It's very limited amount of time we've seen so far, but Dave Merritt spoke very highly of him the other day. I guess, how did this kid slip down to where the Chiefs drafted him? And he looks like he can slide right in if called upon in pretty quick order, doesn't he?
Yeah, and not only if called upon, I mean, the Chiefs need to call on him. I think they should call on him. He's got some playmaking ability back there, and I think they're sort of wasting him a little bit if all he does is play on special teams as a rookie. Now, I know the Chiefs have him out there, if not, every down, certainly, find a way to get him involved 15, 20 plays a game where he can do some of the things we've seen him do at camp and last week's game, because I think he's starting to look like maybe a difference maker. So I feel like that's something to look for, is what does Steve Spagnuolo find for him? What kind of role? Brian Cook as well, obviously, and then Deion Bush is around as well. So the Chiefs have some depth at safety, but I feel like, again, Hicks is doing so well that you need to give him some more. You just can't let him sit on the bench all day when the Chiefs are on defense. I think he needs
Nick Bolton. Last year, Nick Bolton's a little banged up. They're going to keep 5-6 linebackers. An extended Nick Bolton injury like they had last year when they had Drew Tranquill step in for him?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Cochran, as you say, will make the team, and but the Chiefs really don't have much in terms of depth at linebacker anymore. Experience depth. I mean, they've got some guys they kind of like, and Cam Jones and Curtis Jacobs and some younger guys like that, but they're not experienced. So, the Chiefs would be rolling the dice a little bit if they threw him out there or had to throw him out there. So, no, I think that's more of an unknown than it was last year. If the Chiefs don't have that, I mean, last year they were able to get by with mainly with Tranquill and Leo Chenal and Willie Gay, but now Jack Cochran would have to step in if that were the case, if Bolton couldn't go. So, there's not the depth there was last year, no doubt about it.
Let's talk about the ugliness from last week. That was the special teams, the kickoff returns that were given up, the kickoff return that was by the Chiefs. It was bungled into a safety. It seemed to be a little confusion after the game and maybe clarification from Coach Reed and Dave Tobe about what actually the rule is. Were you satisfied with the answers you got about kind of what happened on the safety, at least, where the Chiefs looked like they messed that up?
Forget about not knowing the rule. I mean, that's not good. I mean, but it's the preseason. You need to have everything down by the time the regular season starts. But I'm okay with that, not knowing a rule. But how do you let a ball go? I mean, I just, I know the rules are different, but there's so much uncertainty. There's no one really seems to know exactly what all the ins and outs of these things. So how can you let a ball go? I feel like, Deneric Prince really, even though he got a safety on the play, still kind of bailed the Chiefs out. Otherwise, it would have been 7 points, right? So, hey, they got a long way to go on the special team stuff, and maybe they'll figure it out maybe in time for the season, and maybe they won't. But I just feel like maybe the best strategy when the season starts is just to kick away when they're kicking off and give the opponent the ball at 30 and not worry about it until they are confident that they have whatever problems might exist, that they have those down, because I'm just afraid the Chiefs have been kind of stubborn, as we know, on special teams over the years. They've made some decisions and tried to prove that they were right. For instance, trying to make a punt returner out of Sky Moore a couple of years ago when he was just killing them with the fumbles. So the Chiefs can't be – they got too much on the line to try to prove to the world that they're right on this thing. They need to if they can't get it right and they're not confident they can get it right on game day, then I think they just need to kick away and until they do feel like they've ironed out some of the problems.
Well, that was my point on punt returns. Maybe not so much last year because the offense wasn't great. Just catch the ball. That's when you have Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce a few years ago. Who cares if you get 4 extra yards? I didn't care if the Chiefs got the ball to 2 or the 28. They were probably going to go score. Different last year, so I know they want to fight for every yard and do whatever, but I do agree. I think they get a little aggressive. I love it, though. I mean, I love Coach Tobe being aggressive. want to go do
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Sometimes the discretion is the better part of valor, though.
That's what happens, and I want to direct your attention over to Kelsey, who started this play blocking, but then is going to run more kind of over the middle of the field to where nobody is. Again, the Chiefs know that the play, so they're still blocking as though it's going to be in this direction. So if Mahomes typically wanted to throw the ball to Kelsey here, it would be kind of difficult, right? You'd have to throw it over the Lions player who's running over trying to make a tackle on Mahomes. Not impossible, but with a couple Lions players in that area, it would be difficult. So instead, Mahomes just throws it behind his back to where it's just an easier angle to make that throw. Of course, the flip side is you're now throwing behind your back where it's a lot easier to let one get away from you and throw an interception. So I don't know if this is something you would ever do in a game, but it's the preseason. At the very least, why not try it? Give defenses one more thing to think about once the regular season comes along.